feel the energy of people that are
Below.
here, that are not crossed into the light, that are dead but not crossed into the light. So people who are stuck here, and everybody is psychic. Everybody's somewhat psychic.
Yeah, and I believe that. It's just if they, what's the word I want to say? Like that you're aware of it, that you connect with it and let it happen. It's if they're open to it or if they're not open to it.
It's if they're open to it. But for me, I knew at a young age either I would have my psychic intuition or it would have me, because it was truly making me feel crazy. Like crazy. Like,
did you talk to anybody about it, or you just kind of like...
You know what? I finally, when I turned 18, I found a therapist. And I found one that was petrified of me and said, "Do you mean you can turn lights off and on?" And I didn't go back to her.
Gosh.
And then I found another one who lives in St. Paul, or did live in St. Paul.
Oh, that's funny.
Fell in love with St. Paul then.
Cool.
And she helped me to have better boundaries in my life. And that helped me have better boundaries as a psychic.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So can you hear people? I mean, do you hear?
I can hear them.
Okay.
But you see, it's sort of, when you read yourself a book, in your head you can hear your voice. That's a lot what I hear. It is a rare spirit that I can hear their voice, literally, but I can describe it. So I can hear things, I can see things, I can smell things, I feel them,
You can
I taste
smell
them, everything. Every sense that you have can be an intuitive sense as well, and is. Mine are all on fire.
Have you ever had it where you will see somebody and then you'll describe it to, let's say you're with someone that you're, working with them, and you'll see somebody and you'll describe what the person looks like and it's clearly them? I mean, really, truly,
every
it's
day
like
when
that?
I work, every single day.
Wow.
But you see, sometimes the person can be, maybe they died at 89, but they really resonate with themselves when they were 39. So I'll see a lot of what they're like, but then the person I'm reading has their picture of them in that same outfit, so then they can relate to that. So the person can come through looking however they want.
Oh, wow.
And they'll give me some weird thing about them that will make the person I'm reading for know it must be them, because how would I know that they had a chipped tooth that nobody knew about and they always wore purple underpants?
What? Oh, just like you, Bobby.
Must be some good energy in this room.
Your purple thongs that you wear all the time. I'm
personal.
sorry. Oh, jeez. Did you want to? I'm sorry. Were you?
I'm fascinated. There's so many questions that are resonating with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Bring them on.
There's always like, and not to be, there's appropriate and inappropriate, but are there times when you like don't want to hear things like?
That's a great question. So I'm not reading any of you. I have really good boundaries. I don't want to know for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's not my business. And number two, if I knew where you were, if I read you, or if I was picking things up about you, I would know where you hurt. And in knowing that, I would want to help you with it very much. But because I'm not reading you and it's none of my business, I'm not going to tell you. And then I sit with it.
So if you're on an airplane, you must be conflicted with everything that's going on. Like, it must take a lot to not say anything.
Oh, I'm so in the zone. If you saw me at an airport, you wouldn't even recognize me.
I can't even imagine.
I'm so in this. I just
She's
have
got
to just...
earmuffs on. She's got eye things on. She's just got herself blocked.
Wow, that's
A
fascinating.
nose thing, so
Right?
she can't smell
A
anything.
mask, right?
Yeah.
The SARS mask. It's what it is.
Wow, that is so bizarre.
That's-
God, Jodi, I can't even imagine.
That's gotta be
I didn't even
frustrating.
think of that.
It's like
gotta be
18
frustrating.
televisions talking in my head.
A lot of interference, right?
There is.
Wow.
All right, so then I want to ask, what's going on with me? I didn't even think I was going to do that, but I'm curious.
Well,
I'm perfect. How
have
could it be anything?
You do have a real natural talent with people, and you are perceptive, and you're funny, off the wall funny, but not quite in the way you think you are. Would you not agree? Like, she's funny, but like you're funny in the way you think you are, but you're way funnier in the way you don't even know. And I also feel like, and this is potentials, I'm reading potentials because everything can change. But I also feel like other people are going to start hearing this that are in entertainment and start talking to you guys.
Oh, that should be interesting. Yep. That's what Bobby wants. He wants to be a stand-up comedian in Vegas.
Comedy,
I was just going to say sit down.
sit down would be really cool. Like, really.
At our age, is it sit down now?
Sit down. It's more comfortable.
That's good. That's good. I like it. Are you going to bring your guitar out?
My air guitar. That's fascinating. That's something to look forward to.
Interesting. So what if we say we want to read you? Have you ever had somebody do that?
I do have readings. I'm very careful about who does them.
Wow.
I do, because I'm so sensitive. And you know, when somebody says something to you, they plant that in your mind. And so when I do a reading, people are very vulnerable, and I'm really careful about how I say things. I see whatever I see, I say, but I'm very careful in the way that I do it. So you have to be careful who reads you. It has to resonate, and you have to ask yourself why you're doing it. Because really, your higher self, that part that's so connected to the universe, knows everything anyway. A good psychic or a good medium is going to help you recognize things that part of you already knows, but needs a little kick in the tuchus to get it. And also, it's nice when people are on the other side and they say, "Hi, I'm safe. Don't worry about me."
Oh, do you get that?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Do you ever watch Twin Cities Live? You should look at some of my stuff.
I know I didn't, and you know what? I wanted to. I tend to do a lot of studying on the people that we're interviewing, and I really didn't. I don't like that because then I kind of like that. I want to ask and learn
ask
so
away.
much more.
I love that.
Otherwise, then I'm like, there's so many more things that I start thinking about that are maybe because then everybody else already knows that because everybody sees that about you. Where I just like want to know these things that I think about.
I'm saying if you want to know more about what happens after or what happens in a reading or what happens when people cross over, I talk a lot about it on Twin Cities Live.
And how often do you go on there? Or do you have is there a schedule or they just kind of ask you?
I'm on at least once a month.
Wow.
On a Friday. Sometimes I'm on twice. I used to be on every week. That was fun but exhausting.
I was going to ask.
I have a lot of respect for Elizabeth Reed. I have a lot of respect for the people on that show, including every single person that works on that show. The atmosphere,
people. Yep.
Everybody, the producers, everybody, the camera people, everybody is awesome.
It's a total grind.
Everybody's awesome. Great energy on that show.
And I think it's interesting because we don't know that, But then when you sit there and you've been on that, you see. A few times I've seen that. I'm like, God, it's like there's so much work. I know
it's
you
so much work,
know that, but I don't.
And they make it look easy, which is a sign of being very professional.
Yeah.
So my question is, do people in law enforcement contact you? And I'm going to bring up the name Jacob Wetterling. Do people often want to say, so do you have, you know what I mean? Is that a nuisance? Is that something that you just like, you don't want to be involved?
Say like, I'll cry talking about this. Yes.
You know what I mean?
People approach me and say, my niece is missing, or I haven't seen my son in, 6 years and we don't know where he went. Or I was on Twin Cities Live, it was like 5 years ago, and there was somebody from the Doe Network on, just separate from me being on, and they started to talk about, was it called the Doe Network? It was something where they talked about files of people that had been missing, but nobody ever could resolve it.
Like cold cases?
Cold cases. And so I was in what's called the green room, literally, and this woman had all these cards in it. And I grabbed one of the cards and I left the room and I came back in and I felt sick to my stomach. And as it turns out, the sister of the woman of the card I was holding was a woman that was dead. That woman's sister called the studio and said, can Jodi help us? And I don't do that anymore. I have done it, and it almost flattened me. But I did do a reading for them at their house on TV. So I think it's called Missing Sister. It's on YouTube. So it looks like I don't have makeup on, but I do. I just was crying.
I can't imagine. It's a burden at some time.
Yeah, see, don't you wonder how the people that do this all the time for them, I don't know how they must be much stronger.
Strength.
I mean, no offense,
I'm
but
very
I
strong.
am so,
I'm
not.
a bulldozer. I'm a
great.
bulldozer, honey.
I'm a
but this is
baby.
it's too much for me. I did it when I was 18. Do you guys remember the Atlanta murders?
No, remind me.
Because you're so young. There was a lot going on years ago with the Atlanta murders, and I got involved in it as a psychic, and I was working with members of the police through someone else, but we saw correspondence from them, and I literally could not do any psychic work for a long time after that. It flattened me.
Yeah,
that's when I ran to therapy. That's what
that's
me
what
most.
Triggered you to do.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this.
Yeah, it was too much.
But you obviously found that you like to do it just in a easy setting, like.
So it's not easy when someone's child was burned to death and they haven't been able to talk about it in 7 years, and they sit in front of me and I don't know them. It's easier to read people I don't know. And they sit in front of me in my office and I start to see the little boy bouncing up and down, and I describe what he was wearing. I describe when he lost his first tooth. I described how he died. I described that they got a swing set for him that nobody knew about, and it was after he was gone, and the mother burst into tears. I have in writing that I can talk about this, by the way, from her.
Oh, good.
Or I never would. I don't do easier work. I just cannot separate. I can't look at the face of a little boy and know he's going to die and not know where he is.
Yeah.
And how to get him to not die when I'm working with the police. It's too much.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is too much.
I don't know. I could not.
And people think I'm selfish, but
No.
I get to be here for my family and me too. So I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Do you have premonition stuff of, I know you said you can't read the future kind of in general.
Right.
Like you're saying in general people can't? Or
they can read what
friends
looks like now. They can see, this is what it looks like right now.
So they think
but it
this
changes. A single thought you can change your future with one single thought.
But do you think, and I completely agree with you, but do you think that the way people do those readings where they look at what's going to happen ahead or whatever, it's kind of like what they see what's going here now is kind of then what they can predict what's going to happen?
Do you know it's against the Torah to read the future?
Interesting.
I don't do it because it's against the
that.
Torah, and also it's against the Torah to go to a grave and you have the bones of a dead person and light incense and wear a certain robe and do an incantation, try to bring them up. Not that I've ever done that, not that I ever would, but that is what some people think mediums do, and that's against the Torah. I don't do that. The dead people come to me, I don't go to them. The only one I ever call is my dad. And he's dead, really? And I'll say, Dad, I miss you.
Oh, does he talk to you?
Not enough.
I'm sorry.
He does sometimes.
Okay, I invite you not to read me. Just let's get that clear right now. Because I'm emotional and you're making me sort of want to cry a lot.
Verklempt.
I am. So, funny question for you. Particular movies, do you stay away if there is
all movies?
All movies.
I don't see movies with anybody being killed.
Oh,
I don't see suspense. Comedy I can see. I think that's hysterical.
Okay.
But then I pick up everybody's vibe in the room, and so it can be sort of hard. But my husband loves movies, so we do go see movies.
So are you a homebody?
I kind of am.
Do you have a hard time? Obviously.
I mean, I love being around people, and I love a party, and I love media. I love all that, but I really reduce by being alone.
Sure, I can see that.
Because it probably is, your mind's calmer, I would assume.
Yeah, I can meditate, or I can walk around my kitchen singing, which I do all the time to Donny Osmond.
Oh, my God.
Okay, you just said Donny Osmond. Any particular?
A, B, C. It's easiest one.
And they called it Puppy Love.
Puppy Love.
My kids
I knew that
think I'm
wasn't.
crazy.
No.
I just couldn't remember the one that
That's
was.
funny.
I knew it was Jackson 5.
I know, right?
Sorry. You didn't catch that.
I wanted to say something. So can you
I
tell?
couldn't remember. That was the one I was thinking of, Puppy Love. I love that.
Give us some stuff on the writing. Now, you're published, you're well-known, you're respected.
It's so cool. I love writing. I mean, writing is really my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get sort of a handle on the whole being a medium piece, or I would, like I said, would have been too much for me. I don't know that I'd be here, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much. That would have been it. I just couldn't do it. I had to understand it and have some boundaries. Writing has always been my outlet. And I love to sing, but I don't sing well, so I write well. So I love it, and I'm looking. I am in between agents as of a certain time, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did this myself. I had a great agent, but it just wasn't a perfect fit. And I am feeling like that's going to happen probably in early January, because I have 3 different books that are potentially. And I had interest from a very large publisher, but some things just didn't work out.
Yes.
Didn't want to give her enough money. God damn it.
No, I would do it for next to none. I love to write, because you know what?
Awesome.
People are all alone and they're reading, and then they can feel me hug them.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
You blog.
I do blog. I do affirmations.
But I noticed you're taking a break.
Oh, you saw it. I love it.
Yeah, a hiatus.
That's Jewish. It's
hiatus.
18th day you go on hiatus.
Have you done that before? Have you taken a little break? Or
no,
were
I
you
never.
Feeling,
it's kind of a problem for me.
What?
I don't ever take a break.
Yeah, so being that you write all the time, especially blogging every day, how are you gonna do that?
Then well, I'm an intuitive coach. I'm a corporate psychic, so I do that full time. So I do that, and I have 3 kids, and they're relatively young.
And the dog.
And a turtle, and a dog,
husband. Yeah,
and
my
a husband.
gosh, and a husband. That's a full-time job.
Though.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really cute.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know him.
The dog or the husband?
Either.
Okay.
He's the best kept Jewish secret that there
I
ever
love
has
it.
been.
I love it.
Oh, that's so cute.
Jodi, wait, what did you just say to me that I wanted to ask you
Intuitive
about?
coach.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
So I help companies, just like I do people, bring more money for themselves, more light into their world by pinpointing why it is their company's not as successful as it needs to be. It's oftentimes the owner, the way that they're talking to their people, to be honest, or it's that they're they're dialoguing the wrong way with the customer. There's something, and I can feel it intuitively. So I don't have all the lingo, but I can explain it to a point where I can use examples just because they're given to me intuitively, and it helps the company. Or I work with companies that are just starting or they're expanding, and I help them find a place to open their next business, or I help them decide if they should bring another partner in, those kinds of things.
How did they find
fun.
you?
It's all word of mouth, because it's word of mouth. In fact, Wendy Williams came out and did a show. They shot a show for me, about me, and then they shopped it in, California, New York. And it went over really well, except for there wasn't enough drama. Apparently I'm not I'm dramatic